Hello there guys, and welcome to another Pilot Boy 94 video, and today I'm looking at the Goblin line. That's the Gospel Oak to Barking for those of you who don't know the acronym. So today I am going to be driving from Barking up only as far as Walthamstow, because my favourite part of the line, which is from Woodgrange Park as far as there, is part of it. So this is one of the scenarios that comes with it. Standard setup for all Dovetail Games trains. So this is the class 172-0, which is the ones they exclusively use for the Goblin line. And the exterior model is good, it's brilliant actually, and the bogies are correct instead of having the old ones. There is an interior which does look pretty good, if I do say so myself, with two views, so as you can see. The cab, different to the 170, but the driving still has the same issues, and I feel like the controls and the sound still has the same sort of issues. So here we go. That's the guard's buzzer. I just replied back for 2 beeps. So this is pretty much, if you're familiar with the 170, you'll be familiar with the 172 here on Train Sim. But there are a few interesting features on here because the cab layout is slightly different. I don't know how realistic this is, but you can see there's a monitor here. The AWS is up here, and for some reason they've duplicated the door controls. One up by the AWS feather, and one by the door, which is for the guard to use. The sound slightly modified to the original Class 170 sound, but mostly still the same. The biggest change you'll notice is the gearing, and probably my biggest complaint about the Class 172 from my own experience travelling on them, especially these overground ones. I've only done it about 2 or 3 times, but I find that the gearing is really weird because it has like 4 gears, and if you I will show you in a minute about how you can hear it in the sound, how it changes. But looking at this route, very, very good. I mean, you know, this is a route that sort of been waiting for a long time to come out, because it's actually one of the I would say one of the more interesting routes. But I feel like Dovetail Games have been holding it back, and I think what they should have done personally is they should have future-proofed it for people like myself who are scenario builders. Because if you know about the Goblin at the moment, it's been closed for quite a while for overhead work, so it covers the entire line. I mean, as you can see here, there's overheads here, but that only links the LTS, the C2C services, over to the Liverpool Street lines out, the Great Eastern lines out of Liverpool Street. And interestingly, they are used as diversionary routes, but unfortunately there's no stock to go with it, and it doesn't have the full extent into Liverpool Street, nor does it go out to Grays, so you couldn't really set that up as a scenario. However, while going into the scenario builder, I was looking through the route, and by having this, you basically upgrade yourself with the North London line, because it includes the North London line as well as the Goblin, and you also get the line as far as Clapham Junction as well from Willesden Junction. So I think that's brilliant as well. On this end of the line, you do have the Great Eastern Mainline as far as Woodgrange Park to Stratford, so you can link up there, and also it goes further east, so from Barking going down the LTS towards Dagenham and Rainham, it actually includes that as well. So for someone like me as a scenario builder, I might even do some freight movements across the Goblin and possibly even the North London line using those routes available. So I think that's a positive. Like I say, I'm just braking now for the stop at Woodgrange Park, and the controls are a bit sticky, like they always have been with the Class 170 if you're familiar with it, unfortunately. But it's capable, like it's perfectly manageable to use. So you can see here how the platforms are, they're pretty standard. And every station does have an S-car stop marker on it, so that's good for people, including myself, who like the realism to stop at the correct marker posts. And if you know about the Goblin as well, some marker posts are not even at the end of the platforms. You'll see that in a moment. Just going to slow down. It's a bit heavy, like I said, the controls, so... And we'll stop. We'll open the doors. Right, my biggest complaint is when you open the doors, the control lever goes straight to emergency. Don't like that. I like the fact that the windows open, both sides. And also one feature I really do like is the door slides open. And you can see it from the outside as well. Look, you can see the doors open. And these doors sliding open are actually linked to the interlock system. You'll notice it on this side, there's an interlock light just up there, the blue light. It goes off when I open it. Close it, comes back on. So here we go again. I'm just going to bring the control lever back to 1. And that's the guard buzzer. So now I've opened the windows, you can actually hear the sound of the engine better. And you can hear the gearing. If you listen carefully. There's one. There's another. You see, there's about I think there's about 5 gears on this, and to be honest, I think it's supposed to suit these sort of lines better. But I'm not too sure about how Bombardier put this train together, really. But that's one of the things I personally don't like about the 172 as a class of unit in real life. It's the gearing. It makes for quite a jerky ride. I'm just going to close the windows because it's getting a bit noisy. And I like this as well. There you go, look, there's a progressive sound. So even if you just open one window, it's not too loud. When you open both windows, it's even louder. So you get that feeling that the windows are actually open. There's good wind noises when you've got the window open as well. So here we are. We are now coming up to what I call my favourite part. And there's the Great Eastern Main Line. So, you know, you can link up to the North London line that way, up to Stratford. But this is my favourite part. This is elevated section from Rudgrange Park over to Walthamstow, which is the section you're going to see. And it sits just above the houses here. As you can see, the roofs of the houses over here. There's a police station there for some reason, but I'm not too familiar with the area, and if I'm honest, not too familiar with the line. I also think Dovetail Games deliberately released the Class 150 -1. I feel like they deliberately released it in anticipation of this, but I reckon there's going to be some repaints available on the marketplace for the 172, probably Silverlink and Overground colours, so you can use it on this line. So, like I said, some stop markers are not even at the end of the platform, like here. And you can see the exits here. I mean, one of the details I love is the exits. They're actually pretty good. I mean, this station's a pretty poor example, but in some stations they've actually fitted the barriers. I think the only problem I have with the unit is the sound of the doors. They're not really timed very well. I mean, I'll show you this in just a moment here once the train is ready to depart. But exterior model wise, it's really good. It looks exactly like the 172. Look at these bogies here, and Bombardier branded, which is pretty cool. That pipe work there, that's pretty realistic as well. Yeah, so if I wanted to talk about the unit, actually I'll talk about it in a second. You see there, I don't know if you noticed that the noise is still going for the door close. Still not done. But anyway, let's go. So, as I said, this is different to the 170. Obviously, it's got a different engine, different bogies. Interestingly, actually, with these bogies, the Chiltern versions of the 172 can't be used on certain sections of the line because of the tripcock. So it can't be used because the tripcock can't be fitted to these type of bogies. So they can only be used on stopping services, which they mostly use them for, stopping services between High Wycombe and London Marylebone, via, I think it's via via Ruislip and Gerrard's Cross. But hey, what can you do there? Which I find is quite limiting, which is why I say it's a bit weird, like why these units have sort of come in, and you know, but hey ho, each to their own. It's probably units that are available for for leasing purposes, I suppose. So the maximum speed achieved on this line is what we're travelling at now, at 45 miles per hour. I mean, it's not designed to be a fast line. Obviously, it's a inner London sort of service. There's not much else to say. I mean, you get the whole North London line with the package, and like I mentioned, you get the Willesden Junction. Oh, I think the only other thing I have to say is I think Dovetail Games are slightly skimping out these days, especially on their scenarios. I mean, they include the parliamentary train on here from Woodstead Park to Willesden Junction, lower level platforms. They include it on this, but it's in 2 parts. I mean, they could have done it in 1 part. If I'm honest with you, Dovetail Games, you could have done it in 1 part. I probably could have made it in 1 part, where you drive all the way from Woodstead Park to Willesden. But unfortunately, the scenario has been split up into 2, where you drive from Woodgrange Park to Hampstead Heath, and then the second part is from Hampstead Heath and to complete the journey, which I find really weird. But hey, what can you do? I think it's like I say, I think they're skimping out. Their scenario builders don't seem to be putting enough effort in these days. So we're now at Leytonstone High Road. We just passed the S car mark, but that's okay. And I think this is one of those stations where if you stop at the S car mark, the rear doors won't open because for whatever reason. Even though if you look on the display unit on the bottom, we're there. But like I said, detail at some stations is really good. Look at this. There's some barriers here. Look at the arches as well. It's actually pretty good. They put the signage here. I think there's a few more stations where you got signage on the bridges and that. So it's a really good line. The rolling stock, disappointing. Most of the stuff about the rolling stock has been I don't know if it's been copied or if it's been sort of migrated into it. But the rolling stock is disappointing. But what can you do, hey? I mean, if they could do a better 150, the -1, I think I would use that on this line as well, and date back, or even doing the migration period. But also another thing I've noticed about Dovetail Games is that they released an Armstrong Powerhouse pack onto the Steam Workshop. Well, it's not a pack; it's just one livery of the Class 313 onto the workshop, which I found really interesting. But again, I think that's all tied into these releases, and maybe we'll see more of London. I mean, I'd like to see more commuter lines in London. I think it would be pretty cool, and if they could do like underground lines as well, even with something like the S stock, and they did the District line or the Hammersmith City line or something like that. I think it would be quite exciting. But at the end of the day, I feel like Dovetail Games seems to be more focused on getting the next generation ready, more than they are the current. And there are frame rate problems with the game because the engine is older. And for my system, I have put a lot of time and effort and money into my system, and it still plays this game. I mean, I'm currently running at 20 frames per second. All modern AAA games like Battlefield and other games that I play, I'm running 60 frames, in some cases even more than that, over 100 frames per second. But that's the older graphics engine that's included in this. It's the same as the Flight Sim as well. Flight Sim is really janky at the moment, but who knows what the future of Flight Sim is going to be. I mean, X-Plane could be the future. I don't know about what Dovetail Games are doing with what they've got, but hopefully something good comes out soon and that actually runs pretty decent on a system like mine, But it looks like Train Sim World is going to be released soon. The pre-orders are available. And it looks like it's going to be released on the 16th of March. Whether or not I buy it, I honestly don't know. I didn't have much luck with the beta, which is why I didn't do a video about it. But I suppose that's just how it goes sometimes. I was having problems with the graphical settings, and also it just wouldn't run properly on my system. I don't know what was going on, but I haven't used it, honestly. I've been on Train Sim 2017 more than I have been on Train Sim Worlds. So, but anyway, we're nearly concluding our video. We've just gone past Leyton. Don't even know what the station's called. I forgot. Leyton Midland Road, and then our next station will be Walthamstow. But yeah, this is an interesting line. It covers, or you get to see all sorts of different lines. You get to see the LTS, the London Tilbury and Southend, so that's the C2C services, or where the C2C services run. You also get to see the Great Eastern Main Line, which you go over at Woodgrange Park. You also get to see the what's it called? The Anglia routes, the West Anglia routes. So here at Walthamstow, after Walthamstow station, because this station's actually situated sort of between St James's Park or something, or St James's Road or something like that, and Walthamstow Central on the Chingford branch. You also get to see the Tottenham Hale branch before you arrive at South Tottenham, and then after South Tottenham you've also got the Seven Sisters branch of the West Anglia line. So you get to see all the West Anglia lines, and also you get to see the East Coast Main Line. Well, you fly under the East Coast Main Line, so you pass so many main lines when you go on this route. So it's quite enjoyable, and if I'm honest, the scenery is not too bad actually. They've included a lot of detail to the scenery, and you see I've got the fauna, and I got the fauna effects on, so you can see all the plants on the side of the line there, and also on the platforms, which is really good. But anyway, I'm going to conclude this video here at Walthamstow, like I already mentioned. The route takes about 40 minutes long to complete end to end on a stopping service, but I'm going to conclude it here because I don't want this video to go on too long, and I've expressed my opinions about Dovetail Games, this route, this rolling stock, and yeah, and also Train Sim World. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I would say go out and buy this route because it's actually pretty decent, and if you have the North London line, you can save a little bit of money and only pay £15.99 instead of £24.99. So once again, thank you for guys watching this video. I hope to see you on the next one. Who knows what it's going to be? We'll wait and see. So I'll see you guys later.